Hello. Welcome to Let's Talk Real Estate and Stuff. How's it going, gentlemen? It's Friday.
Good. Q2 coming up fast.
I know.
Fast year, fast month.
It's crazy. I look back and it's like already Q2. Well, come this weekend, Q2 will kick off. It's crazy how quick it's going. But yeah, if you're not following us, please do. Links.letstalkrealestate.tv, and you'll find how to follow us and learn more about these episodes. Subscribe on YouTube. But this week, Carlos was rubbing elbows? Is that the term that
I think so.
is?
I don't think that's allowed in 2023.
The hell does what story is there with rubbing elbows that doesn't make it easy?
He might get sued if he offends somebody from rubbing their elbow.
I thought you were going like the social distancing route there, but
I was taking it further, baby.
But yeah, Carlos was in Tampa, Florida, not too far from where he lives, not too far from where Papa Pie and I.
And the P stands for pie.
It does. Interesting. That's a story we should return to one day. At the Family Mastermind, which is like a bunch of people that are either like vendors or coaches or have software or programs in the real estate investing space, all kind of come together to learn from each other about what's working. So yeah. Chat with us, Carlos. How was your week?
It was a lot. It definitely felt. We've been in that mastermind for a long time. Dan, the other co-founder of Investor Fuse, got us in that really early on, especially for where it's at now. Mm-hmm. There were maybe 150-ish people, roughly estimating, roughly that. And on day one in the morning, they're like, "How many of you? This is your first event at Family Mastermind?" And I thought it was only going to be literally like a handful of people, like single digit. Probably close to half the room raised their hand. And I was like, wow, it's a lot of people that you know, but it's an interesting mastermind because it's referral only. They intentionally don't have any stuff. So if you search Family Mastermind, the only stuff you're going to see is like a closed Facebook group. So kind of to the nature of that industry, which is affiliate coaching, influencers, selling courses, software. They have a ton of people. They had a couple slides of just every type of person that's in that group, which I'll touch on. But it's a very interesting mastermind, not anything like CG or Boardroom, which I had conversations about difference in masterminds and stuff like that. But just a really, really cool group and a ton of people here. And for me, that's been going to it for a while. This really felt like it was the best one. And a lot of people are saying that as well. So I definitely have a couple bullet points. I was taking notes just on stuff to come by. I think we can definitely have a guest list chalked of people just from that are in that mastermind, a bunch of influencers and stuff that I told them about the show. They'd be happy to be on. So a lot of stuff to go through. So first one, I would say this is probably the most discussed topic here of the entire event.
Don't say AI. Don't say AI.
Disruption from AI in the real estate space.
It's like, bro, listen, John, you're hating, but it's last year.
I don't hate.
Last year it was NFTs. Before that, it was crypto. I mean, and it's e-com, and it's every year there is something that's disrupting our space. Mm-hmm. It's always something, bro. Like, and whether it lasts or not is different.
Mm-hmm. I was reading in an email yesterday. I get this like daily news email. It was estimated by somebody, I can't remember who, the World Bank or whatever, that AI would add 7% GDP to the world, but at the same time disrupt 300 million jobs. So I'm like, how does it increase GDP but put 300 million people out of work?
You still need people to run the AI until they figure that out and they run themselves. But
right, and then it was like the Elon letter.
Though. It creates new revenue, is what it's doing. I mean, it's maybe putting people out of work, but it's also enabling people to make money in other ways.
Mm-hmm. So I'm curious, Carlos, what aspects of real estate investing do they feel like AI is going to have the most impact in? Because currently it seems to be very centered around like answer questions / like marketing, images, content, text, stuff like that. Are they expecting it to hit other things?
Yeah, there's a bunch of directions that I could take that question. One, I'll kind of put a bow on how you guys were talking about like taking over jobs versus GDP rising. The sentiment is that people aren't necessarily going to lose jobs, or AI is not going to come in and replace them. It's just that people that know how to use AI and each iteration of it coming forward are going to be people that are just more valuable in their job and going to be way more valuable than people that don't don't know how to use AI essentially. Which right now it's coming. It's what is it? Multi-language, multi-search function where you can say like, hey,
What's this?
search. Yeah, exactly. Search this. What's huge, and I was going to save this for an internal meeting, but I'll share it on here. I'll let my hair down a little bit and share it on here. Within the last 12 days, so this speech by Rob Swanson, the CEO of FreedomSoft, not the founder. He purchased it from Preston Ely, who used to be in the first form of the Family Mastermind called JV Update or something like that. He gave a presentation on, that was Wednesday is when I came home. So Wednesday, 12 days before Wednesday, there was just a massive amount of crazy stuff that was going on in the AI space. The main things was companies like Google, Adobe with a picture version, like 5 or 6 companies.
Microsoft has one too.
Yeah, all these companies within a 12-day stretch from Wednesday back, go 12 days back from that, all announced major in-app free AI that's coming out in the platform. Mm-hmm. So they pretty much started seeing all these other Jasper, ChatGPT, all these things like that are coming out. And they're like, you know what? We're just going to offer that for free inside of our own product. So the speed, like one thing, and these guys are, and that's why I went back and watched Terminator 2, not just because it's one of my favorite action films of all time, and I love Arnold Schwarzenegger, but those, like the Daily AI guy, and I have my notes pulled up here on the side. There's a guy from a company, Daily AI, they brought in as one of the keynote speakers on the last day as well. The people that know about AI the most are the most fearful about it, like it's a Terminator 2 type thing coming. But Rob Swanson gave that presentation where he talked about that 12 days, all these companies, Google, Adobe, Microsoft, all these people coming out with in-app AI, which is going to be really, really cool and convenient for when you're writing emails or searching stuff.
100%, dude. I did that the other day. Copy and pasted an email in, boom, spit it right back out. Exactly. And it was a lot better than mine. Like my
that's what I
language, grammar, punctuation.
Yeah, it's crazy. So there's so much AI stuff. Rob Swanson has a really good presentation. I definitely will give my hats off to him. I spoke to him a little bit after his presentation as well. He always has really good presentations, but he gave 6 ways in the most immediate future that AI is going to disrupt real estate specifically.
What are they?
The one I thought was the coolest is the ability for when you're at a property and you take pictures to have an exact repair cost to the cent, where it just takes a picture and you can do that. And I talked to him afterward. I was like, I think that's going to be the most impactful for like wholesalers, rehabbers, that when they're taking pictures on like Dropbox, they take 30, 50 pictures instead of having to go to different rehabbers. And everybody's going to put different levels of stuff in there, whether it's a high level flip or a rental property or whatever their cost of goods are. But I thought that was really, really cool. What else did he talk about? Content writing for Sequence. What's that, Poppy?
I find that one highly unlikely, but
which one?
The repair cost estimate. How are you going to get behind a wall? How are you getting behind the wall to figure out that you got knob and tube? How are you getting underneath the property to make sure that the
you have to put some inputs in there. You'd have to put those inputs in there, but I definitely think that and it sounds like there's already something on the way that's being created.
Oh, I believe that they will have a product for it. It's adoption and accuracy, because it's so much up to the trades to charge what they want. And then it's up to the person's ability to negotiate that price. Then it's up to the person's ability to make sure it's scheduled and the trade before it does what they're supposed to do. So that way the next trade could do it and doesn't have delays or chargebacks or change orders. I just find that very difficult. I think there's a lot of human aspect that goes into it, but I've been wrong before and I could be wrong again.
I mean, I remember the market walkthrough that we were doing, however long ago that was, a month or so, and you pulled up a property and you're just looking through pictures and you're like, oh, the toilets are covered, this means X. Oh, this is over here, this means X. Like, I feel that's what AI could do.
Yeah, okay. I could see that.
But it's still like yeah, they come up with an estimate, and it's like you got to be able to like actually make that estimate true, plus put in your own analysis to say is it true. But just analyzing pictures,
you're 100%.
I could see
right.
that
I
be.
did do that. Yeah, I did do that. But that comes, and you're right. I guess AI takes out my experience and like all the rehabs I've done and jobs I've run. Like it's just okay. I stand corrected. But I will let you know
a good flip that doesn't go over budget. But
I want to say this. I was on the phone with a buddy of mine yesterday, and we were talking about somebody going over budget, and I made a comment, and I said, "Who the fuck am I to talk?" I said, "Bro, name a flip that you and I have done together where I haven't gone over budget." And we both had a good laugh. Right, and that's the thing is like, there's always shit that you can't account for.
Yeah.
You try not to, but it happens. Anyway, Carlos, the content writing, I agree with like that.
It's already there, kind of.
Oh, 100%. I'm using it for that.
That's where it started, really.
Yeah, that's exactly where it started, I think.
Mm-hmm. It'll be crazy when people just have it inside their own email inbox. Like instead of typing out emails, they're just going to say, respond to this.
I have it now. So when I started, like, I hate writing content emails. Like, it sucks. I don't like it. So I use Jasper, and I'll be like, here's the idea I want to get behind, and then Jasper creates it for me. And they have a Chrome extension that literally anywhere that I type in text, it literally, like, I could hit the Jasper extension and say, I would like a social media post to promote. I used it for Let's Talk Real Estate. But Let's Talk Real Estate where we're going to talk about blah, blah, blah. And then just with hashtags and everything.
I did it different where I actually type I brain dump. Like I type my paragraph. I type what I want my email to be about, my thought, my story. And then I was telling ChatGPT, I was just fucking around. I was like, make it sound more intellectual. You know, like make it sound Shakespearean. And they will. It'll just retype the whole thing. And I'm like, that makes me sound smart. Let's do that. And then I was like, make this paragraph sound less formal. And it was doing it. And I put together, and it came out so much better. But yeah.
Yeah, Jasper has that too. It's great.
I left this event as a quick sidebar. I left this event wanting to go down a massive rabbit hole myself on using all the products that are out there that are AI.
There's so many of them, dude. There's a couple of them that intrigue me. So I haven't used it yet, but there's one where I forget the name, whatever, it's on my phone, but you upload 30 photos and you train an AI model and you just take shitty photos of yourself, just like boom, boom, boom. And it runs and produces like 400. You train it to you. You tell it like things about like what you're doing and this, and then what you want and what you want the photo to be. And it'll basically take you and make LinkedIn, Instagram, social photos of you from the 30 you get, making different facial expressions, smiling, different backgrounds, doing different poses, full body, just face. And then it produces all of this, and it's like $30 and then like another 30 for the actual photos that it spits out. Things like that. And then like the quick where you type, I want a photo of this, you know, image logo on this on a computer screen, and it produces it for you. Like those things make sense to me.
Did you see the pictures of Trump? They did AI like a week or two ago when they announced.
He's like fucking running.
So funny. But it'll be crazy, like verifying. Then there's going to be a bunch of stuff that comes out to like verify whether it's AI or not.
100%.
Which is crazy.
I saw one just real quick. Another AI tool that I thought was really interesting. It's like you don't have to write code anymore. You just go in and say, create me a login screen where people have to put in a username and password, and it spits out the entire code that you just then plug in to like your application. I said it to our developers.
Developers.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's really interesting. I think it could work for basic stuff, but like I look at some of the tech problems.
It's not gonna work for REI Ops.
Right, yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Some tech problems I don't like. It just requires, I mean, maybe it'll get there one point a day, but it's super interesting. Like its ability to process, research, collaborate, and analyze information is.
Well, they're signing an order to put a pause to AI.
Yeah, which I think they should, right? Like it's getting to the point now where people are running to make money with AI and nobody's thinking about what you're actually creating and why.
There's a direct correlation from what I gathered, which every person was talking about AI. And I'll get through really quick the other bullet points of Rob Swanson's presentation. But the more pretty much, and this is the assumption that the person is like a good, genuine human being with a good head on their shoulders. the more aware somebody is about AI, or the more knowledgeable someone is about AI, the more drastically concerned they are about the future of AI, while still optimistic about the good things, and how much they want it to stop. And they hope that this pause or whatever they asked after Chat GPT-4 or whatever comes out, they want them to like just put a pause on it. So yeah, watch Terminator. That's kind of literally the best synopsis of what is kind of going on right now.
OpenAI just bought a stake in a company that makes humanoid robots. Just FYI.
And they the guy from Daily AI, they talked about how and I always mess these up. I have a little bit of a mental block. Is it blue collar when it's like industrious, like manual labor, and white collar is okay?
In the office, yeah.
So AI, this first wave is all white collar industries, but then they say it's going to be easier to just completely replace blue collar when they have like robots in the form of AI that can do stuff. Then eventually it's going to get to a point, probably in our lifetime, where it's going to be way more efficient for the blue collar people that get replaced by AI powered robots, where it's going to be way more efficient money wise and everything wise, where it's going to get to the point where people are going to be paid not to work.
Yeah.
Like blue collar people that do certain jobs.
Are we really gonna like? I could go off.
I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm a novice
Carlos?
AI guy. I'm a novice AI guy that's like learning about this. That's why I want to learn so much about it. These are just the takes that were unanimous across.
I don't want to be alive then. I don't want to be alive in that time, because if you take away man's purpose to do anything, man has no purpose to live. Happiness is derived from purpose. You have something to accomplish. You have something to do. If we have no job, if we have no purpose, if it's pointless to invent, it's pointless to work. What is the point?
Watch Ready Player One.
I love that. But look at that society. They were miserable.
Exactly. That's the point.
I mean, was it cool? Yeah, it was. Cool.
That's what happened. That's what they invented because they were miserable.
Yeah, but that was another world to go into. Yeah, I mean, anyway. So how do you how much is do you pay an annual thing for Family Mastermind?
Yeah.
And is it like monthly after that, or you just pay annual? And what do they?
Oh, actually, we pay monthly, but I don't like. We're on a very early plan. I have no idea what it's like now.
It's like maybe $15K for the year, 10 or 15K for the year, something around that. But like the other ones, I guess with inflation are raising a little bit. I think they went from like 25 to 30K. The other masterminds that are real estate specific. But Papa P, watch Terminator and just be John Connor, dude. Be the human that leads against the AI.
Oh, I will.
Because dude, I don't know. It is like seriously coming. To put a bow on the Rob Swanson presentation, which was really good. The other cool ones were offer creation. So pretty much you put in the specs of a house and it could literally do like an insane. And this is kind of, he's almost like I'm forgetting the term here, but pretty much companies are going to start marketing that they have AI inside their product. So FreedomSoft is going to come out with a big push called like Deal AI or something like that. So I think he was doing a lot of this, and now FreedomSoft is going to have some type of AI in the platform, which is just kind of like, a buzzword. Probably REI App Center could probably say they have something AI in it that's a similar level just to get market share and maybe a smart play. Yeah, but offer creation I thought was really cool. So you could pretty much put in the specs of a property and it will just spit out automatically like cash offer, typical cash, like wholesaler offer that they would present, all different types of seller financing, anything from 0 down to, X amount down percentage, all different types of stuff that you could do, different exit strategies. And it's really powerful, obviously, if you could just put the address of the property in and it just gives you all those offers. Lead generation data. So this is the feature that's going to come out in FreedomSoft that they're going to start marketing soon. This is where they provide data inside of their platform and you get a match on a property that you like. So you just pretty much signal that you like this specific property. And then the AI goes out and finds all different other property that's similar to that. And this is from the prospecting level before you talk to somebody. So say you just say you like one specific property that's 3 beds, 2 bathrooms, certain amount of equity, came from this list, this area, whatever. It'll just instantly just pull like 9 other properties that are the most like that in that market. Or I guess you can do it to multiple markets if you choose to filter that way. And that seems like the feature that's coming out.
Sounds like a filter.
Yeah. So that seems to be the AI product that's going to be marketed.
That's not what.
soon.
Hey,
Exactly. This is what the conversation. I had a conversation with Jordan Fleming, the CEO of Smartphone, this week, which is pretty funny timing. And so we got into it and we were chatting, and he was telling me I can't give away what he's coming up with, but he's talking about like how, you know, everybody's talking about. He's like, everybody's talking about. And I said, don't say AI. And he's like, exactly. Everybody thinks like everything's got AI in it, but really it's just machine learning. It's not actually AI, but it's just like giving a buzzword to it.
I mean, John, technically, REI Ops Center's import wizard is AI. It's an extreme thinking.
Machine learning. Yeah.
Bruh.
John, you may hate this, but you may need to market it as AI, honestly.
Yeah, REI Ops Center and its AI data input platform.
Like, that was a takeaway. It's like, if you could market anything that you have as AI,
100%.
like, that is just a hot wave. Like, it was NFTs. I'll say this too, and then I'll move on to the next subject. But Rob Swanson started with a story of, it was like the year I was born. He was in college with his roommates, and he plugged, I believe it was like an old computer or something, into a phone jack, and he was able to like instant message really slow with his dad or one of his friends' dads. And their reaction was all like jaw dropping, like, oh my God, this is amazing. So like 1990. And he was saying how amazing it is. And he's like, this is what's going on. This is the era that we're in with Chat GPT right now and AI, of like all these people like mind blown what it could do. But then it's just going to be, and the presentation was, we're in the iPhone stage of AI. Like when the iPhone first came out and it kind of changed everything with social apps and the messaging, where you could see people typing and you could do pictures from your phone and upload it to social media, and everybody that's like where the metaverse kind of started. He's saying that's where we're at with AI right now. So interesting.
You just aged the shit out of everybody with that computer analogy. Like, I get he's like in his fucking 40s and shit, but I'm not like too far behind him. And I was younger when you could plug a computer into a phone. Like, you're acting like that was a weird thing. That was life back then, Carlos.
No, I was AOL. We could only have one person on the internet at a time. It did that. It did literally the most like painful noise I've ever heard in my life. Like
the whole house hears it, and you're just like
LimeWire downloading music.
Oh, bro, I was LimeWiring the shit out of stuff. I'm
hip with it.
Oh, you're hip with it? Cool, dude. Cool.
I'm hip with it.
How much did Rob Swanson buy Freedom Software? Does anybody know that sales price? That was a while ago, wasn't it?
I don't know.
It was a while ago.
That was a while ago. I was trying to Google the price tag on that because I was trying to compare it to when PropStream sold.
Not as much as PropStream.
That's what happens when you wait a little bit.
Yeah.
The second thing, which I think Papa P, maybe he didn't, saw some people are posting like Donovan Ruffin. I love Donovan Ruffin. I haven't even met the guy, but I love Donovan Ruffin, just how he, kind of how an impression you get of someone on social media. And I've also heard from people that he's an awesome guy. But him, some other people, Tyler Austin, who I love as well, posted a video of a guy that was talking about how, and I'll loop this back, but it was a guy on Instagram that posted how everybody's kind of like the media is all kind of talking about Trump getting arrested or indicted. But while that's all happened, it's kind of like a diversion from China and Russia meeting. And this is from Family Mastermind event. Russia and China meeting, them deciding not to use the US dollar anymore. So there's just like some big
That's why they're going
the global economy that's going to affect real estate massively and the United States massively, where the dollar could really just go to it could go down a lot, which is really scary. Go ahead, Bobby.
I'm trying not to talk politics,
but it's related to.
I really held back on the Trump thing. But it is, but it isn't, because it is wildly unpredictable to try to be able to guess what is going to happen to real estate and to the dollar itself. Because when the dollar goes down, if the dollar gets destroyed, like in Europe, inflation is going to go crazy. And when inflation happens, assets get more expensive. But the thing is we just enacted the Willow Project, which means we're going to be going for our own petroleum. I could go on. We're an import nation. We're a consumer nation. If we start exporting, we start to get our control back. And that was what Trump was trying to do from the beginning. But they stopped him. And they didn't want us to become an export nation. We wanted to rely on everybody. Now, we're going to start mining. I think we should have been fucking drilling the shit out of Alaska. Fuck those polar bears. Fucking lock them in a goddamn cage. But I'm going to get blasted for that one.
So many polar bears in Alaska.
But, like, who was that we had on that was talking about Alaska? Fucking
Vince.
from Call Porter.
Vince,
Vince,
yeah.
yeah. That was wild. I've never met anybody from Alaska. But I think that's 100%. And so they indict him. We have that going on. It's like the dollars, Saudi Arabia is now teaming up with Iran to redo petroleum and to not settle that petroleum deals in dollars anymore and to do it in the Chinese yuan. And if all that happens, America goes to war, baby. Like, we go to war. They're not going to let that happen. So, yeah.
That's what they're saying. Yeah, war.
So you're saying what's going to happen with real estate, but nothing's going to happen with real estate. It's just going to happen to our world. Like, that would be the least of your concerns.
Yeah.
It would be unreasonable to think that what you are doing right now would matter at all in any industry if that happens. Like, it won't matter how many mobile home parks you own or how many single family homes you own. Tenants aren't paying you rent. Like, in fact, you might even be in a worse position as a landlord or somebody because banks and that they're still going to want their money from you. It'll be an even worse COVID situation. And if we go to war, well, I hope all those people who think women are equal are ready to start enlisting women into fucking battle. Because there's going to be some enlistments going on if we go to war with China because they got a shit ton of people to go against us.
Yeah.
But I think we're safe in Florida.
You can have concealed permit now, or you can
No.
carry a gun now, right?
Well, yeah, I don't think they've passed the non-concealed carry permit thing. If you're going to pick one fucking state to invade, do you really think they're going against Florida, man? Like, you think
Florida,
they're
man,
against us?
defends against the Chinese army.
Yeah, like, fuck that, dude. They're not coming to Florida,
Stops
baby.
invasion with alligator-ridden Florida men.
They're going to the fucking West Coast where the softies are, bro. They're coming through L.A. They're going to come through L.A. and Seattle, occupy Seattle. They're just coming on through that. They're going to plow through them, and they're going to hit a wall when they get to, like, Montana, Oklahoma, Kansas, and farmers who have weapons, and then they're going to be like, oh, shit. Like, and when they get to Texas, good fucking luck, dude. Good luck fucking with Texas. And if they come from the East Coast, they better start in, like, fucking New York. They'll plow through New York. New York will just fucking run. Name a movie you've seen with New York getting fucked up where New York does anything but run away. I'll try to run across the bridge.
Avengers: Age of Ultron.
There you go.
But yeah, I don't know.
I didn't hit the biggest part there. The synopsis of this video that was reposted by Donnie Ruffin and Tyler started with pretty much a war is coming against China.
No, I 100% agree. I could go on, but I won't. I think that's interesting.
It is.
I think it's interesting.
The next ones I could kind of loop together here, and we'll still have plenty of times to jam on them. So we've talked a few episodes about kind of like dispositions tools.
Yeah.
It's Brandon's favorite. There's also Town Square. There is a new one from a guy, Josh DeJong. He may have used InvestorFuse. I knew the name, but I hadn't met him before. But there's a new one from Josh DeJong. He kind of went a different route into wholesaling, where he started as a realtor in Dallas and then got into wholesaling after. So he's creating, which it seems like people are pretty bullish on at the mastermind. He's creating a off-market MLS. So similar to one Steve Trang had, but that was like in Phoenix and one market in Texas, maybe. A couple people have tried to do it, but people are bullish on this one for a few reasons. And I thought it looked pretty cool. And if they can master it, I think it is in Houston and Dallas. It's in Houston and Dallas right now.
Many people have tried.
Many people have tried.
Many people have tried.
Many large companies have tried too.
What's his name? Did it with the blockchain. Hell is his name? Big real estate guy. Look up there with Sean Terry. The other guy. Anyways. Keep going.
That was awkward.
He had some interesting insight. The app looks like really, really cool, and he has good perspective coming from like a massive brokerage team in Dallas. One of the things that's really cool is it's kind of like Uber, where when you're communicating, I don't know how often you guys take Uber, but I take Uber like all the time. When you're texting and calling with your Uber driver, like if you're trying to find them or whatever, it swaps out like fake numbers.
Right.
So it does that with the property address itself. Like it gives like an area of where it's at, and it does that with phone, email. So you can't like poach buyers or save your own buyer contact. Like it seems like it's very decentralized, like auctioning or marketing for your property, which is cool. And it's not like email blasting. Like he mentioned that. He's like, it's not like email blasting. It's just like a very safe, easy place to market deals and essentially get buyers that are very verified, and they're doing the payment through there as well. So it's not like you meet a buyer. It's just different where you're not meeting a buyer. You're having them to like wire in funds or email blast or phone communication with them. It's like the payment they're building right into the app, and you're able to get in there.
Sounds cool.
So it looks cool. That's the last part that they're working on, the payment part. And then he just had interesting insight from the realtor's perspective as well, where he was talking about how brokerages are now starting to teach wholesaling direct to seller marketing because they want to get in on the pie of now they're pretty much the larger brokerages are all aware of like real estate wholesaling and starting to like see all these people like influencers and people teaching it, that they're starting to get in on their own direct to seller marketing methods like cold calling, texting, direct mail, everything like that. They're also getting taught like sales negotiation around like the conveniences of selling cash versus listing the property. And they're also learning novations. So even people that can list a property themselves are also learning all this stuff, creative finance.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough though. That's gonna be tough.
Exactly.
The problem is, Carlos, is that's all well and good, and people talk about that because you know who talks about that? Successful realtors. Mm-hmm. Successful realtors talk about that because they are one of the few. Right. Majority of realtors fail. Realtors as a group are failures. Mm-hmm. Over 87% fail, right? And the thing is only about 2 to 3% of realtors are wildly successful. And by wildly successful, I mean in the top echelon of income generation. The remaining like 10% in there make enough to get by. They make on average the median income, which is like $56,000. I think it's 54 across. The median average realtor income is like 55, 56,000. And the problem is they spend less than 5% on their marketing, or less than 10% on their marketing annually. And so if the median income is 55, that means they're on average spending, and that's not just their outbound marketing. That includes their software tech that they use to do it. Mm-hmm. So you're trying to get a group of people to spend money on marketing that is so just against marketing. Like when I was a realtor, there was always a joke that realtors are the only industry, the only business profession that think they deserve to make 100% profit margin. They try it's what they do. That's why they bounce from brokerage to brokerage. They try, and I'm not talking about the producers, because producers understand marketing. Producers understand giving up a cut for the greater good because they make more money that way. But the majority of them, so you could train all the realtors you want to do this, you're still going to have an increased failure rate because the majority of them have no education. And I mean, coming into real estate, they do it for freedom of time, and they do it to make money, not to spend money. So anybody who wants to argue with me on that, I would love.
I would give like an asterisk to that. I think like what Greg Simpson is doing with his brokerage is kind of interesting because he brings people in with the idea of like you're coming in to be a hybrid agent and you will 100%. Get all the training on it.
And Ryan Pineda too.
Versus like a big brokerage is like, and now we're going to teach all of you how to wholesale. Like,
okay. But what you're missing is you have no control until you turn them into an employee. You cannot tell. You can only tell your realtor what to do from the basis of licensing. as in I am your superior because
Right.
you hang your license with me, but you're not an employee, so I can't tell you when to show up. So again, I could give you a lead. I could tell you this person was a hot lead from our wholesaling department. Go call them. And then if you don't do it, I can round robin it to somebody else. But you can't, I've had that problem. You can't force them to work. And the number one reason why people become realtors, they don't want to work because they're the laziest motherfuckers out there. And again, I'm talking about the majority. I'm not talking about the ones that are actual producers. And actual producers understand that the majority of realtors are uneducated and lazy because of that mindset of coming in to not work, to make some extra money. But I agree with you. I mean, I think that's a huge thing. I know Eric Brewer does stuff like that. There's a lot of guys who have a hybrid model. But running a brokerage, I just think that's going to be, the thing with a wholesaler to a point is you have accountability. To a point. Accountability as in money, my pocket. If I'm wrong, I go broke. So I need to make an offer or say a price to a seller that makes sense. One of the biggest complaints we have as wholesalers is when it goes to a realtor, how do we fight that? Right? We can offer novation. We can offer creative. We could do all these things that realtors can't. A realtor only has to come in and say a high price, and there is no accountability for that. There's not. Yeah. I mean, I know KW agents were trained in my town. Like, I remember getting into arguments with people because they would just win the listing at all costs. And then what do you do? 30 days? Because back then, average listing time was like 90 days. It was pretty typical. So after 30 days, you come back and say, hey, Mr. Seller, we need to drop this price. Another 30 days. And they don't blame you. They blame the market.
Yeah.
There's no accountability for that, man. Yeah. So like until you actually spend, wholesalers are at least being held accountable. So who's going to spend the money, Carlos? Is it the brokerage or is it the agent? If KW is spending the money trying to supply these agents with novation leads and wholesale leads, how do you control that? And I only speak from experience of having tried this with agents before.
Yeah. So what's the perspective that you were learning about, Carlos? What is it that they're trying to do? Just increase more revenue?
And
who knows if it's
increase more revenue. And it's also related to another point I was going to bring up, which is Jason Hartman, who that's another takeaway. Like I want to go on an AI rabbit hole. I have a few guys on YouTube. I'm going to watch their stuff that was recommended. Jason Hartman's also really, really good. He's presented a bunch of years he presents every year at Family Mastermind, but he's the guy that has like infinite podcasts. Like I think he has like 20 or 30 different podcasts that he hosts. He's like the podcast guy for like years and years and years. But he just has really good stuff around just like the entire market, like many things going on in the market. And he was explaining it that it's interesting because there is going to continue to be a huge scarcity of houses unless rates go down for mortgages. Him and another guy, Tim Harridge, who's another like global economist, global real estate guy, both said there's just like no chance really that mortgage rates come down. So, I mean, they talked about this year. Yeah, I think maybe, I think ever as well. Not to like threes.
No, we're going to fluctuate between 5 and 6, I think, for a long time. Unless what we talked about a little bit, like some China shit goes down.
So that's kind of what they're saying. So when there's a scarcity of houses on the market inventory, like there's in theory, like just less opportunity for realtors to make money by listing properties and moving properties.
And that's the thing. And so that's what it happened. It happens not just for that, but also, prices are still high, I guess. So never mind. I was going to say lower prices on properties. So the more prices decline, the commissions go away because like, especially in a small county like mine where, median home prices were 150 and then they rose up to like 250. You know what I mean? You making $5K, the difference between $5K or $2,500, you have to churn more transactions. And that it exhausts your network, I guess. So unless you do lead gen, and I'm by it, Carlos, I wasn't trying to say that no realtor should do that. I believe they should. But I also believe that the realtor that is willing to take that training from KW to do novations, creative, Sellerfi, whatever the hell it is, right? They're the ones that would have found it, I think, anyway. and learned it another way to do it.
Mm.
That's my only thing. I think the majority of them won't do it. But yeah, it's going to be tough for realtors. But that's why the majority of realtors fail. They have a higher failure rate than regular business owners. And within 5 years, there's a higher failure rate in real estate agents than there is in small business owners.
Mm-hmm.
And no, being a realtor isn't being a business. Just, I know they think it is. It's like I started my own business and became a realtor. No, it's not.
That's funny. Well, that's just like resourcefulness too. But that's a good example of like resourcefulness, like you said. Like the brokerage doesn't need to be teaching how to wholesale versus an agent that hears about it on a podcast on Let's Talk Real Estate and is like, you know what, I'm just going to research this. Oh, I can lock this up.
It becomes tough for a broker standpoint because a broker only makes money on a percentage. So what are you going to do? How do you control that? And it becomes, I question how they think they're making money, what model, and I don't know the answer, what model they're going to use to stop an agent from doing it on their own and saying, well, why do I need to give you a cut? And again, so then you spend the money to generate the lead. You sign a master referral agreement that if I spend the money on this lead and give you the lead, you give me a cut. But how do you force them to call that lead? That's the biggest problem, is how do you force your agents to do that because they're not employees? Here in my office or my virtual, I can force you or threat of fire.
Right. Or you're not going to get a job.
That's it. Because you're my employee. I don't know.
Another thing too that we kind of, just to echo that, I forget where we heard it from, but the deals, people that don't have a mortgage or realtor license getting into deals where they're taking over the mortgage, like subject to deals, is apparently something that I don't know if it's the Realtor Association or whatever, but that apparently is going to get.
I love it.
People have their eyes on it.
I love it. I think they should. I love subject. I've never got a problem with it, but I think there's going to be a problem when you have a bunch of people who have no money taking over a bunch of other people's mortgages. And when shit goes wrong, because it always goes wrong, how they're covering that bill.
I don't know. I just feel deeply something big is happening.
Well,
something big is going down.
Who knows what's going to happen, man? I mean, everything's in for disruption, but the realtors, you're threatening the realtor pie, baby. You're threatening NAR. They want you to get licensed. I don't know what that's going to do. That'll increase NAR's piece of the pie, and you don't even have to be so NAR, to be registered with NAR means you can actually call yourself a realtor. You don't have to be a registered realtor to be an agent. So there's two different terms there. You don't have to register with NAR.
I didn't know that.
No, it's not. You just can't call it. I mean, you can't call yourself a realtor. I'm registered with both. At least I was. I don't know what I am anymore. I don't really do shit.
How do you identify?
I don't identify as just a dude.
Dude.
Fair
enough.
The dude.
Fair enough. But yeah, I mean, there was so much cool stuff and good speakers. But yeah, AI was 100% the tool there. I have a bunch of notes here on, if anybody's getting into affiliate marketing or anything like that, that's pretty cool. Coaching. Tom Kroll gave a really good presentation. That's just super, super, super simple. But I mean, if you have a product, perfect for REI Ops Center. Their advice, I'm kind of just relaying information and what I'm planning on doing on it, which is watching Jason Hartman's podcast and all global economic stuff and global real estate stuff and currencies and this war that sounds like it's about to go down. And then AI, just learning AI, experimenting it with it a little bit myself. But also, if you have product services or you're putting stuff on YouTube, bake in as much AI to it as possible to get more viewership in short term. Take it live.
Yeah, it's intriguing, man. Real estate's going to go through some changes, but I also think there's a function of real estate that will always be very in person.
Oh, I have a good point on that I actually added to my notes. So no matter what's going on with this AI, people getting their jobs replaced, even when it's Terminator, which apparently is going to be sooner than people think, where there's actually blue-collar jobs taken by robots.
Yeah.
Let me find it in my notes here so I'm not misquoting it. And I think this plays well for all three of us and people that are are similar to us. Hold for 1 second as I find this. And if not, I'll go off the cuff here. But essentially, the people that are going to do best in this new AI era are people that have high emotional intelligence, social skills, creativity, and they're able to spend time in deep, focused work and kind of like creative thinking and thoughts. Because no matter how evolved AI gets, that's one thing that it's not going to be able to happen. It's going to be the learning, like it is always taking in new stuff, but it's not ever going to have something that's like it's a consciousness, essentially. All the people that spoke about AI, including the daily AI guy, they're trying. And that's the thing that he talked about too. Trey Taylor talks. He's one of the new commissioners of Family Mastermind, and he was pretty funny actually talking to him a little bit. He was talking about Papa P and John. You guys may know about this. What happened where like they took down some of the AI that was like saying like sexist and like racist stuff?
Love it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, but I just love the fact that it was doing that.
It was because there's a dark side to it. Like it was getting fed that stuff, and it started like wanting to take over and like saying like racist and like
that's
fucking stuff.
Awesome.
And the one where like they started making their own language when they were speaking to each other. They had to shut those doors
so I
down,
want to watch. Intuition is another thing. Here we go. I found my notes. So I think that like for personally, I was like, all right, that fires me up because like I very much see myself having all that stuff and very, very intuitive and aware guy. So I love being able to utilize some AI stuff. But yeah, they were all fearful of it, of how powerful it is and people programming. Because as many good people as there are in the world, there's also people that don't have good intentions or just freaking crazy psychopaths.
There's always going to be, man. It's the same shit that goes on with the gun laws and everything people are arguing. Bad people will always find ways to do bad things. You cannot assume that because you take the rights away from the majority, that the minority still won't find a way to do what they were going to do. Laws only keep up in reaction to the crimes that are happening. We are never ahead of the game. We aren't. We are a solution to the problem. Laws are a solution to a problem that pre-exists the actual solution. So that's the thing is like, and that's what's scary about AI is because you don't know what it's going to do. And it could do it a lot faster and sooner before we even recognize it.
The Congress can write
we can't even get together on anything. Motherfuckers walking around trying to find chocolate chip ice cream. And we're over here like, oh shit, the AI just found a way to escape its fucking box and jump into a humanoid robot now. Like, what are you going to do at that point?
iRobot. That's like I Am Legend. What's the Will Smith movie?
Yeah, that's iRobot. But then
iRobot,
another movie,
so good.
like,
love that movie.
I what movie it was, where and maybe it was iRobot too, where they figured out how to work on themselves. Once they taught themselves, not only like was that iRobot?
Oh my God.
Yeah. That is literally.
That's the interesting thing. That's all from Isaac Asimov.
But the thing is curiosity kills the cat, and that's the problem with humans. We are so very curious that is detrimental to us because we don't have any hubris. Like we feel as if I think humans are some of the worst species on the planet. Like we just destroy and we'll literally destroy ourselves for the sake of curiosity and the sake of attainment.
Yep.
I don't know, dude.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy, super interesting. In addition to doing that research, I'm gonna watch those movies again. I saw T2. I don't know if I'm gonna watch Terminator again, but I want to watch like iRobot because
iRobot's a great one.
I just want to throw out there for my
what's the one that
No, I was going off topic. I just wanted to throw out there to my fans, especially from last week, the guy that loves me for being a fucking conservative. I just want to say it. I want to bring back a statement I made over a year ago before anyone else said it. My man is the Teflon Don.
Okay.
Joe Biden?
No, Trump. He's the Teflon Don. Nothing sticks to this motherfucker. Impeached twice. Indicted multiple times. Criminal charges. Investigated by the FBI. Like, nothing sticks to this man. And I was explaining this to my wife, and I was like, this indictment pretty much guarantees in the White House. Why? Because if you ever remember when you were a kid and you got sent to the principal's office and inevitably you got talked to and then you came back, you were a badass motherfucker. People, all your boys were like, oh, fuck yeah, what's going on? It gave you street credibility. You got street cred for getting in trouble. It's like, if you go to jail and you come out of jail on the streets, you're the fucking man. You got juice. Donald Trump has attained so much juice, he is now unstoppable. Because all he's doing is fighting for us. Whether you believe it or not, that's what he says he's doing. Whether you believe it or not, it's what he says he's doing. And if that's what he says he's doing, the people that look up to that say, oh my God, they just took the guy standing up for us down. But look, it didn't stick again. He's in. He's got more street credibility than anything. Now, DeSantis doesn't want to extradite him. DeSantis is standing up and the motherfucker's trying to run against him. You want to know why? Because that's respect. It's respect for the juice on the street. I don't know if you ever saw the movie Juice with Tupac in it back in the day, but when you got the juice, the other players give you the respect. And DeSantis just showed him ultimate respect because he recognized the Teflon Don's juice. I'm just saying, I'm trying to break it down in an easy like analogy style, but I just wanted to put that out on the.
What's his status right now? Because I really don't follow the news, but obviously I see he like got indicted or whatever.
Yeah,
and they were talking about it for like a week.
The grand jury's on delay.
Is he actually going to go to jail?
Something?
They're trying to bring
a
him
chance of
back.
that?
He's not going anywhere, bro. He's not going anywhere.
For like hush money to like a porn star that he was hooking up
Who
with.
who gives a shit?
But I'm saying that's the charge that he would potentially go to jail for is giving money under the table to a porn star.
Inappropriate movement.
Use of campaign
because
funds.
This motherfucker's got billions of dollars that he could do this with. He happened to use the funds from his campaign to do this. Meanwhile, all the other shit going on with Epstein and the Biden files and all that stuff, like, that doesn't matter, but we're worried about some porn star. That shows you what's important. Why China and Russia are like, yes. Yes. Let them fight amongst themselves while we go and take over the world finally.
Good stuff.
The world's going to be interesting.
Dude,
but in the end, I think, going back to what you said, Carlos, I truly believe none of it matters. And I don't mean the politics, I mean real estate. I think it is such a minute aspect of our economy and our worldview, like because we're in real estate. I think if what we're truly saying has any reason to it at all, it doesn't matter what you own. It doesn't matter how much properties or income or monthly generation you're doing. We go to war, none of it matters, bro. It hasn't in the past either.
True.
It just doesn't.
We're talking war with a nuclear country, which is not like a war that we can look back towards.
You know, I'm just trying. Listen, I think Florida is going to be okay for a bit, which is why I'm thinking about.
You got to understand, there's no way the United States would be invaded without nuclear warfare breaking out.
I mean, no one's ever tried invading the U.S., and I think that's because we got our guns, Brown. I stand by what I said.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if they started to like invade, all you would have to do is shoot off some nuclear warhead and just like
could be an AI digital attack.
There's a quote that said, "I don't know with what World War III will be fought with, but I do know that World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones."
Yes.
And that's the thing. And we were talking the other day where we were making dinner, and I was like, the thing is for people like us, we just want to live our life. It's the few power people in the world that are basically controlling all of this, that have the audacity to put us in a position like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just trying to buy some mobile home parks, bro.
Just trying to make some software that makes people's life easier.
Yeah, like, come on, dude. Like, so there was a book by Stephen King called The Stand, and I forget how it went, but it was basically like the guy had worked his ass off it was based in the 80s, right? Worked his ass off to become a famous musician, and fame back in the 80s was almost more difficult than it was to be rich, right? Because you remember, like, back in the 80s, technology. Anyway, the second he received fame and like became famous, pretty much the world had ended. Like everything just went to shit. None of it mattered anymore. And like that's and so it's like a great reset, right? Where fame, nothing, money, none of that is relevant. And that's why I keep saying, like, it doesn't matter how much real estate you have or anything like that. In the end, you could work your ass off. The software, REI Op Center, could get released, be the biggest hit. This shit happens. None of it matters. And if that doesn't put shit in perspective for you as like a life basis, I don't know what will.
Yeah.
Because you really got to think about that.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely. All right, hey, you guys want to see the turtle video? We were supposed to watch it last week, but we
Oh, really?
Let's watch John's fucking turtle video.
I loved it. I want to see some I want to see some dive knife action though. Like,
what is this?
feisty guy.
Yeah, it's a giant soft shell turtle. It almost bit me.
Oh, I love when he tries to get away.
Lots of them get away.
Two at a time, nice. That was a cool capture.
Those snapping turtles are the ones my son caught.
Dude, that one's huge.
That's him releasing that snapping turtle.
That's fine.
There you go.
Well, all I'm thinking this entire time,
That's where the gator is.
no, I'm thinking about all the people out in New Mexico who people think are crazy for being abducted by aliens. And I'm thinking about what these turtles are thinking. Like, imagine them going back into the water and being like, bro, I was just fucking swimming, and like some fucking huge alien came, grabbed me, brought me up, bro. They were probing me. They had me in buckets. They did stuff, and then they put me back, man. And like,
That's
I'm
exactly
thinking
what
about
it is
that
like.
the whole time, like what these fucking turtles are thinking. These giant people are coming after them, and they're just trying to live, bro. You were scooping them out of their beds in their homes, like just like.
Right, that's right. I dug some out of some walls. They no turtle left behind.
Thank you for sharing that, John.
There you go. When I say I'm gone for turtle stuff, now you can imagine what I'm doing.
Now I know.
Mhm.
That was cool. I sent it to my roommate that has the 4 turtles.
Ah, yeah,
He loved that.
awesome. Cool, guys. All right, we'll have a great rest of the day and weekend. We'll see you all next week here, same time, same place.
Let's do it.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.